year. And one thing I'm very proud to say, the Muslim Institute, we welcome Muslims of all persuasions. And yes, and non-Muslims, no, sorry, yes. And I think that's very important. The fact that you open your gates to absolutely everyone who comes with tolerance and peace. For us to unify, I think we need to unify on common human values. There's one scholar, his name is Mukolish Majid, he's from Indonesia, and he made a separation between the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. Now he said the vertical axis is you and Allah. Yeah? So you going upwards, you and Allah. Horizontal axis is between you and human beings. I think we need to focus on the horizontal axis. Have spaces of debate. Today we had a space for debate, but we closed that space. Now we're moving on to unified points of unity. So that's what we need to do. We need to have certain times to discuss, certain times to work together. And I don't think in terms of social reform, anyone would disagree that, number one, we need to eliminate poverty. We need to eliminate illiteracy. We need to increase the level of education. These are all common ground. And people of all religious persuasions, not just Muslim reformers, but reformers of humanity, would agree on this. Second question by Shaikha, I think it was, who are the prominent reformers of today? In my view, Muhammad Al-Kun, who sadly just passed away, is one of them. Muhammad Al-Kun, he had the capacity to rethink Islam. I would highly recommend his book, Islam, Common Questions, Uncommon Answers, where he advocated a paradigm shift for everyone who is thinking about Islam. I just want to clarify, although I'm a Quranist, I have no problem with Muslims believing in whatever source they feel can give them spirituality. What I do have a problem with is fundamentalism. Fundamentalism, when you say, for example, this is the only way, there's no other way, we see that with the Salafiyah, that I find a problem. Because with that, you're focused only on religious uniformity. What we want is for people to be diverse, but at the same time to come together for common human values. And the last question is by the gentleman at the back, the place of reform in Muslim countries. That's a very short answer. There's no place at all, unfortunately. No, it's just, we can't see that, can we? No, that's not actually true.
That's true.
No, it's not. Malaysia, for example, there are a number of different organizations, the Islamic Renaissance Front, the Sisters in Islam, for example, who are in fact fighting against Sharia laws which they consider oppressive. Now, this does not mean that all of Sharia law is oppressive. Let people extract from Sharia law what they find useful, and we need to be tolerant of that, I think. But I'm afraid in some of the Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and so on, you'll be a bit hard-pressed to find Islamic reform. What you first need is probably to get people to start, as Edip says, critically think. So, thank you.
Shortly, I have been suspicious of, I have problem regarding establishing an organization where Peru or me or someone else become kind of the religious leader and the others become the subject and follow their things. And that's part of that kind of hierarchical institution or organization will just generate another cult, another sect, another religion. And that's the problem. Therefore, I have been always staying away for those kind of cults. Many, many years I have been calling it. But I put a condition. I will be engaging with an organization if there is no that kind of leadership that the person's name, when the signature put, people will accept it. Here it is. This is our guru, and this is. There is that kind of philosophical flavor and that kind of open mind and discussion, as he said, different ideas are tolerated and discussed. It doesn't mean I will have certain conviction my own. No, no, no. I will not give way to anyone. I will be fundamental about certain things that I am 100%, according to me, I have reasons to believe that. I will not become suspicious, skeptic, or because to please you, to see that I'm not found everything goes about God. No. If I see something wrong, but I should be able to say, and the same with you, but we will respect each other's human rights. We will be as free as I am. Therefore, in Turkey, when they tried to punish someone, put in prison an atheist on the pretext that he's insulting kind of prophet or the Quran, I was one of them who wrote an article, and on YouTube I say, Muslims should be just the other way around they do. They should protect this God. This world is, for God created this world with Satan even in it, to have a test. People, whoever, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wants, let them believe. Whoever wants, let them reject. And the Prophet Muhammad, وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُسَيْطِرٍ, you are not a dictator over them. You are not even guiding them. God guides. It is up to them. Therefore, in fact, the Quran, interestingly, chapter 4, verse 140 says that there are some people insulting or mocking your religion, your deen. Maybe the word religion is wrong because at this time is used really for bandwagon or organization that exploit. Maybe system is a good way of life. If someone insult and make mockery of that, doesn't say beat that person, right? Or put in prison or bite that person's leg, hand. No. Leave that person, leave that group, and then how long? Until they come back to their reason, go back, continue your argument discussion. You see, you don't even cut the relation forever. Because at that time, they are being by emotion, they follow their emotion. They are not in the zone of intellectual argument. That's very important, but you see Muslims go crazy if someone forget about insulting God, says something about Prophet Muhammad. They are more for God than God for himself, as if in the name of God. Against the Quran, they go punish that person. Therefore, freedom of expression, respect to diversity, but not falling into the trap of relativism. Everything goes about God. You should say everything is okay. No, I mean not. But having that diversity is fantastic. And women's rights, I think, specifically among human rights, is important. The Quran gave women's rights, which is God's given right, natural rights, but there are many verses criticizing Meccan policies for oppressing women or discriminating against women. But those rights were taken away by Hadith, unfortunately. Interestingly, among all things, slavery was turned back to a hadith. Slavery diametrically contradicts not with simple verses of the Quran, with the first statement, La ilaha illallah. You cannot say La ilaha illallah and leave for slavery, because there is no Rabb, Lord besides God. But if you say, you are my abd, I am your Lord, you are my abd, my slave, my servant, and I am your Lord, you will become like Pharaoh. Pharaoh didn't say, I am creating you. He said, I have full authority over you. You are my subject, and I am your Lord. And therefore Pharaoh considered to become a polytheist besides God. And slavery, how in the world they were able to say slavery is not haram, is okay? Yes?
I'm just going to say, I don't think either of you actually answered my question, which was about...
Oh, did I went too much. Okay.
The time frame.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And what can you actually see, like your vision for the future of this movement, what do you see you have to give a prediction? Take it everything.
Well, again, I mean, and I'm sorry, I have to actually respond to this point of view. I don't believe that it is about relativism at all. I just believe that there are spaces for discussion and there are spaces for action. In my opinion, I mean, you know, I'm very passionate about my own study of the Quran. And I believe that this is the best I can come up with at this point. But I will not say, for example, to anyone else, I'm sorry, your study is not worth anything or discount it or it's only falsehood or etc. I'm not going to do that. And I believe that's very important. I believe every human being needs to engage with Islam for himself, for herself. And when we do that, then we begin to think, okay, well, the Quran tells me something, and the Quran tells the other person something. What in common do we have? For example, the Quran says, strive towards al-khairat. It repeats that twice. Strive towards all that is good. Yes,
You're not here to attack each other, you're here to answer the question.
You are the question.
Okay. So the time frame, I can't actually say give an actual year by year kind of thing, but I do believe that it will take a generation. It will take a generation, and that generation needs to first start with critical thinking. And I do believe that a lot can be learned from the Protestant movement in Christianity. I would highly recommend a book by David McCullough called Reformation: The Houses of Europe Divided. Brilliant book, and you will see Islam going through the same phase even now.
Briefly, I am ready to see a surprise, great surprises, and very, because so far certain things surprise me. I never expected. Therefore, within few years, if we see a country says we follow the Quran and we'll have a federal secular system. I say federal for certain reason. It's not for secular, but federal secular system based on the universal principle of the Quran, which we emphasize is we address the poverty and the accumulation of wealth in the hand of the few. That's one of the biggest problems in the world. According to the Quran, a society will not be a moral society if one person is hungry, some people have extra food. That doesn't fit the Quranic description of a Muslim. Or someone is homeless, you have extra room. Therefore, this is not also individually could be done. You cannot individually have in a city a road. You say, well, everyone let them pave their road. Some there will be holes and stuff. It will be counterproductive. Some people will even elevate the road in order to show off. But therefore, that not be a kind of a community. We say we take care of each other. We share our things, but we have also freedom to go to enjoy our work and creativity. But there are certain necessities of life, like food, like shelter, like healthcare, like home. These for everyone. We are brothers and sisters. We take care of each other. That's important. And second, standing against wars. We have been escalating production of weapons through many, many ways, sometimes imposed on us by the imperialist powers. There are people who are bloating, who are making billions of dollars from blood. The blood of the poor people in their country, sending to other countries, killing other poor people. We need to be more courageous than those cowards who killing many millions of people just in this last decade. Therefore, we need to be peacemakers and connecting with other peacemakers, regardless of their religion or color. We need to unite our voices with peacemakers, stand against warmongers, those who enjoy creating conflict. And second, environment. This is very important. God gave this word for us, not to waste it, not to trash it. But unfortunately, the capitalistic system was another evil system like communism, but its lifespan a little bit more, but it will collapse. I have no doubt future generation will condemn. This is one of the worst anti-human and the system that has no consciousness, no heart. We have destroyed, poisoned the earth, the land, the oceans, the atmosphere, and we are leaving a very poison thing for our future, for our children. I cannot even eat fish right now. Some of the fish have mercury in it. Okay, and therefore environment, we need care about this, and there are, we don't, anyway, we need to, and then the other for freedom. Stand for freedom of expression, even the freedom of your enemy. Stand for their freedom of expression, even the freedom of a person who believes in headscarf. I don't believe that. I defend their rights. There's not the veil. I think that's a big problem, because the identity of the person and security of the society. But in other ways, everyone should choose whatever they want.